Yeah, obviously, reflecting back to Saturday, it was a great win for our guys on the road at Kent State. Obviously there's some things, especially at the end of the game, last 10, 15 plays, that we need to get cleaned up. Obviously, it was extremely emotional there, stressful, all the above on the sideline. But at the end of the day, it was a great win for our guys. I really wanted to point out just the guys in the trenches, both the offensive line and the front seven there defensively. Did a great job of being physical in the trenches, ran the ball extremely well. We stopped the run that day to have the sack production that we did, 7 sacks on the day, several guys involved in that. And then, probably one area that might get overlooked, but our special teams operation on that field goal unit late in the fourth quarter when it was a heavy rain, for those guys to go out there and have an elite execution there between the snap. Tucker mentioned to me that's the wettest ball that he's ever snapped in his life. The hold by Brian, and then obviously Jackson drilling that. That was awesome. That was a big moment in the game to go up 30 to 21 there. But I think there's some things from a game management standpoint. Obviously, I need to educate Vaughn in that situation better. There were 2 timeouts left. We get a first down, and he can get all the yardage you want. They go down inside the 5. They got to burn one of their timeouts, and we haven't run a first down play yet, and they got 1 timeout left. Then we don't get ourselves in the situation that we were in at the end of the game with the onside kicks, having to recover those. So I got to be better. I got to make sure those guys are educated better in that situation. But again, great win for our guys, and obviously turn the page now, full speed ahead to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Does it make you feel any better, like in the situation with Vaughn, where he's admitting, yeah, I know that I should have went down. He just kind of got caught up in the moment.
Yes and no. Obviously I know you're a competitor, what Vaughn's been through in his career here with some of the injuries and the injury early part of this year, and has an opportunity that presents itself like that. You want to score a touchdown, but at the same time, what's best in that situation is to go down inside the 5. And I know he said the same thing, obviously to me on the sideline as soon as it was over. But, we're fortunate to be able to learn from it in that situation, knowing that the other outcome could have been the result. So don't want to overlook it. It was the first thing I addressed Sunday morning when the entire team was in here, talked about that at the end of the game and how that unfolded, and wanted to make sure everybody in the room was crystal clear on that. I could have done a better job reminding them while we're in the huddle, reminding Coach Elliott, like, hey, we get a first down, we got to go down, because it was an uneasy. They still had 2 timeouts left. We knew we had to get a first down there. There wasn't, obviously the situation we were in.
Yeah. How do you mentioned just all the emotions that you go through during that 2-minute drill when you're trying to keep on the lead and they're trying to take it from you. How do you manage those emotions all at once?
Yeah, and I don't worry so much about me, but when we were leaving the field after the game was over, we won. And I don't know if the team was just emotionally spent based on what ebbed and flows and everything that transpired in that it was a roller coaster for the last, handful of plays there. And so I think the team was emotionally spent because it's like, hey, fellas, we just won the game. Look at the onside kick that we recovered right here. Coach Conley showed it in here, and look at the sideline. Is everybody just so that we forgot to celebrate, knowing that, man, the game is over now? And so, I don't worry. You think about the next scenario because you always got to be ready to go. And again, the way it was raining too, you always worry about ball security at any point in time whenever you have the rain like that. So, obviously, it was just trying to make sure we're ready to go for whatever scenario presented itself.
Yeah. Sounds like they made up for maybe the lack of celebration in the locker room. What was that like?
That was awesome. Coach Conley showed a video from 2022 when we were in there and, obviously celebrating after a win, and one of the chairs collapsed. Well, he happened to be the guy that was on the chair when it collapsed. So we brought a chair with us. He showed it in the special teams meeting. The victory chair is what we called it. And so, you'll have to ask Coach Wenger the story. We were worried about him being on injured reserve because he suffered a laceration to the forehead, from the victory chair there. But it was fun. Those are the moments that you laugh about those and you enjoy those because there's nothing like it. Every one of them is different. You can't recreate them. So just, all the hard work that goes into it, and you get one opportunity on Saturday, and that's the goal, to sing the fight song in the locker room.
You talked just after the game about how you guys needed that win for confidence. Was there a general feel on Sunday when you guys met as a team that confidence was improving?
Oh, without question. But also, too, guys, several guys recognize that, man, there's things that we got to get cleaned up. We have to get cleaned up. Again, I credit our guys, in the trenches. That was awesome to be able to run the ball, one of our best running days this year, and several guys were involved in that. And then obviously to be able to stop the run the way we did, to get pressure on the quarterback, but both ways in the passing game, offensively and on defense, we got to get some of the things cleaned up, as we move forward here. And so, obviously we'll be back hard at work on us as well as game plan versus Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Do you feel like, run defense has at times this season been a bit of a weak point, but it was improved on Saturday? Are you taking that and kind of using it as a chance to also improve the pass defense?
No question. Obviously, there's things when you look at there's 8 to 10 explosive plays in the passing game, and you look at it, and it's like, okay, out of position. This one was tackling. We had him, and then all of a sudden he broke several tackles. And don't want to take anything away from Krishan McCray, a great player, but some of it came down to tackling, or when we were in man coverage, perhaps we were too loose and weren't tight enough, and considering the situation, whether it's 3rd and 5, 4th and 5, whatever it was. So just things that we got to keep working on us. Does everybody on that field echoing that it's 3rd and 5 so that they know? Is everybody echoing that it's 4th and 5? You don't want to just assume like they're wired thinking, oh, it's 1st down now it's 2nd, now it's 3rd. So making sure everybody knows there's no secrets, guys on the sideline, making sure it's 3rd and 5, it's 4, whatever it is, man. But we got to be we got to get those things cleaned up, and can't keep talking about them up here. And so yes, obviously, very encouraged by the improvements in terms of run defense there, and running the ball. But now we got to get attacking the other ones so we can play in a complete game and complete defense that way.
Yeah.
I feel like we talk about we learn a lot of team after a loss. What's it like to kind of know where the mistakes need to be cleaned up after a win?
That's good and bad. Again, the goal is to play 60 minutes of great team football. Does that happen very often? No. But that's the goal, and you keep striving to do that. And so there's things that we need to attack every day, whether it's technique related in some guys' situations, whether it's scheme related, whether it's knowing my assignment, whatever it is. So it's great to get a win, but at the same time, we also are real with ourselves. We watch the tape, every one of us does, and each player in here owns it, knowing that, man, I'm accountable to my teammates here. I got to do my part in order for this thing all to work. And so we got to be hard at work on that just as much as we are about, obviously game planning for Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's on a roll here. How do you go about preparing against a team that's pretty hot right now?
Yeah, obviously there's the story of college football right now. And so to have 2 huge wins like they did the last 2 weeks against Kentucky and Alabama, obviously is awesome for them. They lost an overtime game at Missouri, which was a top 10 team. So they're playing great football right now, great team football. They got a formula that's working extremely well for them. But it's an opportunity for us. It's an opportunity for us to go down there and take advantage of the opportunity to get on the field and compete that way. And we got a lot of tape to watch on them, but it's not a secret. They've done a phenomenal job executing their +6 turnover margin. It's an amazing number, but they've had 37 points to 0 off of turnovers. I don't know if I've ever seen a stat like that before. They've scored 37 points off turnovers. Their opponent has scored 0. Now they've only turned the ball over twice, 1 fumble and 1 interception. The first interception came the other night against Kentucky. So it's a team with a lot of confidence. You can see that when you turn on the tape, how physical they play. They feed off of one another. And they got a good thing going right now. But it's a great opportunity for us, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, you guys have been SEC country before. How do you kind of get the players ready for a night game in SEC territory?
Yeah, and obviously we've not worried about that. We'll be ready to go. Probably the biggest challenge is getting on a bus again on Friday for 5.5 hours to travel down there. We had a 4.5 hour this past week, so that'll probably be the thing that guys would not be looking forward to, is getting on a bus again and trying to get comfortable for 5.5 hours. But other than that, we played night games before. We've been on the road. Nothing like that. There wouldn't be anything schedule-wise that would be different than we've done before. And again, great opportunity for us to go down there and compete.
And obviously with Ty Rob going out and Bo, what are their timelines look like getting back here?
Heartbreaking for Ty Robinson, man. Obviously the news coming out of the stadium that day was, he had a fracture. And so we're going to be without Ty, and it's heartbreaking because of what he's been through and how hard he's worked to get himself back. He played one complete game last week against Western Michigan, had a couple of huge catches in this game the other day, and now we're going to be without him, but we're going to be there for him to support him. And it's not easy, going through a tough time like that, and we just got to be there for him. I know all the guys, in our program, on our team, his teammates will all be there for him to help, every step of the way. And, we're still very optimistic to get Justin back on the field this week. He's been going through some practices in a limited capacity, but we're hopeful, to get him back full speed this week.
What's it like from your kind of point of view to see a player that works as hard as a player that has to go out again?
That's hard. It's emotional. You're at a loss for words on what to say to Ty after the game was over in the locker room. I'd just give him a hug, tell him I love him, and stay positive. That's the only thing you can do, but it's hard in that situation when you're him. Rightfully so, you're frustrated, and it's very difficult to be positive. But I commend him, because he came in Sunday. And, I saw him here at the door when he came walking down to head into the training room, and obviously commend him for just the look on his face, the smile on his face, and trying to stay positive in a difficult situation.
You said it's a fracture. Just want to clarify, fracture to what?
To his leg, the lower leg, non-displaced fracture there. So really waiting to get some more information on what the next step is. We'll be without him,
yeah.
But really trying to determine what the next step is here for him. And so yeah, just heartbreaking.
I knew it was lower half. I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
leg or foot or
Yeah,
ankle or whatever.
yeah, leg.
Okay.
Yep.
I do want to ask about the schedule a little bit. A lot of times when you play these Power 5 SEC teams, it's in the beginning of the season. We've talked about it before. You kind of view it as a chance to sharpen up for MAC play. Well, now this comes in the middle of MAC play. Is it any different that way?
The schedule's a schedule. Can't do anything about that right now. Obviously for us, when the things unfolded the way they did and we faced a tough situation scheduling-wise, this is the opportunity that was available to go to Vanderbilt there. And so, obviously we're going to be focused on just having a great week of preparation here, making sure we keep working on things that we need to get cleaned up on our end. But I haven't really read too much into that other than we just got to get ourselves ready to go and go compete our tail off.
I wanted to ask you about Ty Baldwin, who's also out for the game. How's he doing?
We'll see. He's just been going through treatment. He's been limited, obviously, with an ankle. So we'll just have to see when we get back to work here. I didn't make the trip, obviously because of the bus ride and having a lower body injury. You don't want to take a chance on swelling or anything like that. So we'll just have to see when we get back out here on the practice field, how he looks Tuesday, Wednesday, all that.
All right. We talked about the two freshmen, McLean and Yates, after the game, kind of stepping into that spot. Can we expect to see those guys a little more moving forward? Yeah, they did a lot of good things the other day. Obviously, none bigger than that first drive of the game when Will had that interception. Man, that was a great job by him. It's one thing to have a ball thrown at you, but sometimes those are the hardest ones to catch. So, it was a great start to the game. Can't start it any better than that. Then obviously to be able to go back out there offensively and turn that into a touchdown is a great way to start the game. Those guys did a lot of positive things the other day, and obviously a few things that, some mistakes, whether, due to being young players and freshmen and first real significant college action, but they'll be hard at work to clean that up on the practice field. Do you think it helps those guys to face a guy like Krishan McCray, in their very first extended action?
You got to turn that into a positive because that guy's dynamic. Obviously what he did after the catch, and he's explosive, man. He's speed and explosiveness, and obviously the ability to break tackles and make you miss in the open field. So it's a great way to start out from a challenge standpoint because he's one of the top guys, not just in the conference, but in the country. And so we'll turn that into a positive.
And then you mentioned the special teams earlier as well. You guys have gotten a really positive impact play on special teams in pretty much every single game this year. What's that like to just kind of see those guys who kind of go under the radar a little bit, go out and make plays? Yeah,
and one that's probably not going to get talked about enough is at the end of the game when we're in those onside, we're on the hands team and all that. Well, Braedon Sloan was out, who's on the hands team because he had an ankle tweaked, and so he was in the medical tent. And obviously Ty Robinson, who's on hands, was not there because of the injury. So Christian Davis being forced into action, and that ball that was kicked right up, they tried the onside right in the middle there, and boy, that was hot too, and he recovered that, and it was wet. So for him to be ready in that type of situation, and obviously the other two attempts, they contacted Hill before the ball went 10 yards. And so that'll go unnoticed, but yet the execution and guys being ready, knowing that, man, I wasn't number one on the depth chart going into it because of some of the injuries that happened. Boy, those guys delivered. Coach Conley talks about it all the time, one-shot mentality. When you go out there on special teams, you got one shot. You don't get second down. You don't get third down. You got one shot. And to be able to deliver was awesome. But, you know, the field goal unit, honestly, that's the biggest play of the game for those guys to go out there and, you know, being up 27-21 and to execute that, to put us up 30-21. That was awesome, man, especially the conditions, because it was raining pretty heavy down there on the field. And, boy, you're like, man, I hope everything goes off smooth. And, boy, those guys act like they'd worked on that every single day in practice. And so it was awesome in that situation to deliver. And, you know, we spend a lot of times, you know, Coach Conley does a great job with special teams, and we meet a lot and talk a lot, making sure that we're ready to go. And Coach Winger's heavily involved in making sure, like, you know, he keeps the chart on the sideline, so if somebody's out, you know, he's marking it off, making sure he communicates to the you know, the guy that's number 2 behind him, hey, you're hot here now when we get out there on kickoff, or you're hot on KOR because this guy's down, or whatever it may be. And so there's a lot that goes into it, making sure communication's at a high level on game day. All right.
All right, real good.
Thanks, guys.
Stand by for Braedon and Joey. We'll have Braedon first. He's got a class. He's got to get out. All right. I want to leave it open up for questions.
Well, before we get into more specific stuff, I just want to ask, Mike said that you had to go to the tent during the game the other day, tweaked your ankle. Is that what he said? What happened, and how are you feeling today?
I feel good. I feel great, actually. It was just I'm not sure what happened. It's just on one of the last plays in the fourth quarter. I guess I got rolled up on, and then I came out and went to the tent, got it moving around a little bit, and it started feeling normal again. So that's a good thing that it wasn't worse than what I thought it was.
Obviously, we probably wouldn't see it today if it was anything serious.
Right.
No, but the running back room, we talked with Vaughn after the game, and he just talked about how close this running back room is in general. What was it like to see Vaughn score a touchdown, even if it probably came at the wrong time?
You know, it was awesome just to see him get in the end zone. I was probably thinking the same thing as everybody, like, is he going to go down? Is he going to score? And he didn't go down, even when he went ahead and scored it. So, still excited for him that he got that for his first one of the season. I got on to him a little bit he didn't do his signature celebration, but we're going to work on that for the next time he gets in. We've got to make sure that he gets his celebration in.
He said he should have, after the game, he said he should have went down at the 1 and did the celebration. So you feel like that?
Yeah, that'd have been cool too. That'd have been cool because we'd have got to knee it out and everything. But no, he didn't. He went ahead and went in. But it was good that we still ended up with the victory.
Yeah, and I also know, like, during the game, Charlie Spiegel had a career-long run, and Vaughn said you guys were really excited for him to talk about your reaction for that.
Yeah, that was awesome just to see Speeds. He don't talk a whole lot. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. So, but he comes to work every day, and to see him get rewarded with that run was real big. They also said he got a touchdown and got called back. I was in the tent for that one. I didn't get to see it, but I'd have been probably the first one down there to congratulate him on that. But that was real big just to see him get in there and get those reps.
Yeah, obviously, like, this is your first year in the program, and these guys like Vaughn and Spiegel have been here before. What have you learned from them, not only about just how to be a great running back, but also just about Ball State?
They love it here. That's the one thing that I've realized since being here. Vaughn hitting the portal last year, and then deciding to come back. We talked a little bit about that, and just how he just missed it here, and that says a lot about just the family feel that's here, and just being here since the summertime. I've really felt that, and been really appreciative of just the family feel that the whole team has, and with the coaching staff and the players.
Have you had a chance to meet his son?
Yeah, I met him after I think it was the first game. We keep going back to family, and it's like my little nephew because Vaughn's like my brother. So it's really cool just to see him as a football player handling his business here, and then off the field just handling his business as a father. That's real big.
Yeah, and I know, like, he said that his son is one of the many things that motivates him. What is it that motivates you to just be consistent every week?
one thing is the guys in this room, to go out and give it, my all for them and not let them down. Another thing is just, my family and people back home. A lot of people look up to me. Where I'm from, not a lot of people get the chance to play college football, let alone Division I football at the FBS level. So, just the fact that it's a big blessing for me to be doing what I'm doing. And, that just keeps me going. And my faith in God, he's been there for me for everything in my life, a lot, like football, outside of football, just everything that I've been through. And, it just really keeps me going, just that and this aspect of the family and people that look up to me.
For sure. Obviously, the running backs room had one of the best games of the year last Saturday, but I know Mike has said that he wants to see a little bit more consistency from the passing game. I know that's not necessarily your area of expertise, but you are involved in the receiving game. What do you think needs to get better or cleaned up from the passing attack?
It's kind of like you said, consistency. Just going out and not just relying on the big plays, just the short yardage plays that you can get, getting the ball to receivers, making catches and making people miss and getting up the field. Just stuff like that. Not, like I said, not just relying on big plays or trying to think that somebody else is going to make the play, like to step up and if I was to get a chance out of the backfield to go make a play receiving or just anybody that's out there, just don't rely on anybody else to make a play and go out there and make the play.
Yeah. It seems like just on offense in general, whether it be receivers, running backs, or even offensive line, I know like Damon Kaler is out for the year. Is this team and this offense really just built on people stepping up?
Yeah, I feel like in that sense it is. Like you said, Damon going down, and then you got Chris Hood stepping up. He's doing a good job with his role, and that's a big thing. Like going through camp and stuff, just guys that are paying attention, even though they might not be in the position that they're in, just paying attention and working and continue to grow, because you never know when your opportunity is going to come, and just to step in and make the most of your opportunities real big.
And I know you were on that sideline for the ending of that game. Just kind of what was going through your head as it's kind of just getting closer and closer as the time winds down.
For the last game?
Yeah, Kent State.
For Kent State, I was on the hands team, so went out there on the hands, and just recovering the ball was on my mind in that. And then after we got the recovery and got to knee it out, it was just big because we got the victory, but. Earlier in the game, earlier in the fourth quarter, whenever it was just getting real tight and everything, it's not really nerves, but it's just we got to trust in the defense that they're going to get a stop, and then we got to go out there and perform as well and get a first down, and kind of to the situation and Von's situation, just understanding football and just having the FBI football intelligence to go out there and sometimes make that decision that you got to slide. It's always good to score touchdowns, but sometimes it's better to just go down and then go ahead and knee it out and not have to worry about them coming back, giving them a chance.
Yeah, Mike talked about those conditions a lot, especially towards the end of the game. Obviously, we weren't going to be able to be there. I've never known what it's like as a player. What's it like to play when that rain is really coming down?
It is difficult at times. The ball can get really wet, especially if he's catching the ball, throwing the ball, snapping the ball, just anything to do, with the ball is going to be wet. So it's harder to, make your throws that you're used to making, to make your catches that you're used to making. Ball security, running the ball, you got to make sure you double cover and keep it tight because it's, can slip out and go anywhere. Then we had the field goal. And we talked about the operation. Just Tucker said something about it was the wettest ball he'd ever snapped. And, just for them to go out there and execute that in the rain, that's a big thing because the rain has a lot to do with, momentum and just executing plays that you're used to executing.
And you're going down to SEC country this weekend. Does it excite you to be on stage like that?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a big stage. A big opponent, but it's just the next opponent. Just on any stage that you get to play football, I feel like you should be excited, regardless if it's from little league level to the NFL. Every game should be exciting one to you. But for sure in SEC country, just go down there and plans on winning and getting that victory. It's really exciting.
Last week we, saw you make a bunch of the highlight plays. Obviously, you had the touchdown pass and then the long catch and run there. But this past game, it wasn't as much opening up for you, but you still kind of really dominated in those short yardage, 3rd and short, 4th and short, and then goal line situations. How much pride do you take in just kind of going out there and executing in those kind of scenarios?
I take a lot of pride in that, especially short yardage, 3rd and short, 4th and short when you got to go get it. Because if you don't get it, then the drive shuts down right there. So take a lot of pride in that because that keeps the drive going. It's not a lot of big plays necessarily. Like you said, it was just it wasn't opening up and it wasn't time for that. But just to take advantage of the opportunities that I had in the short yardage was huge to keep the drives going and open up more plays and opportunities for other people to make and score.
We've seen that you're able to do both. Like you can get those 3rd downs when it's just a 3rd and short and you have to get the first, or you can make those explosive plays. How important is it to be able to do both as the lead back?
It's really important. I feel like as a lead back, I try to pride myself on being able to do it all. That's one thing, whether it's in the run game, the pass game, or blocking. Just to do what you got to do to help the team. I feel like at any position is what you should pride yourself on.
All right. All good with Braedon Sloan. Thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all, yeah.
All right. All right, Mr. Stemler for the defense. Go ahead, fellas.
I think what we've heard most from everybody in the program, whether it was on Saturday or today, is like you're happy to get that win, but also you realize that there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yep.
How do you go about managing those two very different emotions?
Well, obviously, the win was huge. Really, I like to say it's a spark. It's what we really needed. It was a whole team effort, which was awesome to see. Full 4-quarter game, but also just shows us watching the film what we still need to work on. Keep developing guys. We had some young guys out there playing. Keep them up. Make sure their morale's high. Pat them on the back. Tell them we got their back. And just make sure we learn from what we're doing and just get better.
Yeah, there was a lot of pass rush, from you guys on Saturday. Was that a point of emphasis going into the game?
Yeah, we wanted to get after them. Like we knew what they were trying to do, their scheme. Like I said, we were trying to help out our guys on the outside. Set them up for a good position. So we were just trying to do the best that we could, and it worked out well. We had Berger played a great game. Riley Tolzman played a great game. The whole D line was just doing their thing. We can see what we can do. So we just did out there and we just executed it.
Yeah. Do you feel like the biggest thing that this defense still has to master is consistency?
Yes, 100%. We've shown what we can do at times. 2 weeks ago, we got the 4th down stop on the goal line. We got up the field multiple times this week on 4th down. Like we've shown what we can do. We just got to keep doing. All 11 guys doing a job. Ultimately starts with me as well. Making sure guys are doing what they need to do, making sure I'm doing what I need to do. So it's a whole group effort, not just a specific position.
Yeah, and that's obviously easier said than done. I mean, how tough is it to put together a full 60 minutes of consistently good football?
It's very hard, especially it's more or less mental, especially when things kind of start going. You give up a score here or there. Maybe offense doesn't have the greatest drive. You just gotta have the mental capacity to say we can do it. 3 and out here. Just find that spark, find what drives us, and just really just dig down and the bend but don't break defense type of mentality.
I asked Braedon kind of a similar question, but we've seen guys on the defense where there's injuries or just a personnel change, young guys or new guys to the program just step up. How have you kind of guided them along in that process?
Yeah, well, kind of like what I said before, just keeping their spirits high. Obviously, they might not have the reps that we have or some of the older guys have, but making sure, they're giving 100% effort, which, they have been and they are, and, making sure that we still care about them and make sure they know that, we have their back no matter what. Like we know nobody's perfect, everybody's going to mess up. Just keep playing hard, and whoever's out there is going to give Ball State effort.
Yeah. After weeks of just not being able to get over the hump quite, how good did it feel to when that clock hit 0 and you guys win?
Oh, it was excellent. Like I said, it was excellent for the whole team. Obviously the defense we were very, very excited. Offense played a great game. We played a great game. We know we still have more we can, but overall it was just very exciting. Like I said before, it was just that spark that we needed. It's going to just drive us the rest of the season. Both sides have shown what we can do, and we're just going to go out there and do what we need to do.
Continuing on young pro players, obviously third play of the game. What was it like to see Yates bring in that interception? Kind of what was your reaction to that?
Oh, I was so excited. I wasn't out there for the third down, changed personnel, but just seeing on the sideline, seeing him jump the route and read it perfectly was awesome. It was his first, it was his third ever, snap he's taken in college football, and I've seen him do it in practice, and practice is just like how you're playing the game, and I was very excited. The whole sideline lit up, and it was obviously very exciting for him to get that and see his excitement as well. It shows how much he cares for Ball State football, being as young as he is.
From a preparation standpoint, what's it like to go to Kent State and then obviously now you're playing Vanderbilt this week?
I mean, yeah, they're a very good team. Obviously to beat Alabama, they're a very explosive offense. But ultimately, we're just going to keep doing what we do. Like I said before, we've shown what we can do, and we're just going to keep mastering the little things. Focus on the emphasis of tackling and getting the ball down, and just basic defensive things that we need to keep getting better at. Just focus on us and do the little things right.
Talked with Keontae about this, earlier in the season. How frustrating is it when one of the biggest issues on the defense this year has been tackling?
It's very frustrating. Like I said, not everybody's perfect. I've missed plenty of tackles. Whole defense missed plenty of tackles. We just got to keep emphasizing it in practice. You can never have too much work at it. Just take an extra step. Get the guy down, or never assume the guy's down. But I mean, it's frustrating. But I know we can get it fixed, and we keep getting better. Week in and week out, which is very good to see. It's just we just need to keep working on it.
I know you went out for a portion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly was the injury and what happened?
I wanted to go make a play, and I kind of ran into one of our own players, George, and kind of just bang heads a little bit. I was a little bit shaken up, but it was nothing major. It was more or less just precaution, just to make sure I was okay. But then Caden stepped in and at linebacker and did what he needed to do. And I was excited for him. He's obviously gotten some reps before. But yeah, I'm fine. Nothing wrong at all.
We saw, obviously, you guys played your finest game probably through 3 quarters. When that fourth quarter rolled around, they scored 3 touchdowns, kept it a game, kept it competitive. How do you keep that, intensity that you guys had in the early quarters throughout the whole floor?
Yeah, I mean, just telling them, we can do it. We've already shown it for 3 quarters. Just one more quarter left. We can't let up. We've already had. However many, 5 or 6 sacks, and throughout those 3 quarters, we had 15 minutes left. We can do it. We have the offense's back. They have our back. We just need to go out there and just compete with the Ball State effort, and just not let anything try to affect us.
Yeah. And obviously the win is the most important statistic, but for you to have your kind of best statistical performance, and then a bunch of other guys, you mentioned Tolsma and Berger having great games on the stat sheet. How much does that help you guys with your confidence going forward, which is something coaches talked about a lot?
Oh, it helps a lot. Like I said before, the D line starts with them. They're doing their job. They're holding on to their gaps and doing what they need to do, which makes my job a lot easier. And I'm just making plays that that are there to be made. But it's the overall confidence booster. Like I said, we've shown what we can do. The whole entire defense is a unit, and we just need to keep doing it. Building that confidence in everybody, and putting that consistency throughout 4 quarters instead of 3.5, or vice versa.
All right. Mr. Stemler, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Yep, thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.